God help us all.
Who is just and fair? Who are you?
Acts of and Cries for Love in an Often Indifferent Problematic World. By Alan R. Austin. All these needs, all these emotion-based demands that we humans have. They can make for a wild ride, a dramatic ride from the cradle to the grave. But where is the balance? The clarity of thought and action. The essence of harmony. Within one's own peace of mind come to grow into a fully actualized person? Where indeed? Perhaps it all boils down to simply this. There are basically two human actions that occur all the time. And we, each individual has the power and choice to choose which we bring into our existence. Everything is either a cry for or an act of love. The first action is the cry for love is all too common. It is the cry to have our basic needs met. The cries right out constantly for love, recognition, compassion, understanding, etc. The secondary action is an act of love. A specific determined act to provide peace, relief, help and understanding. It is less commonly heard because the cries for love is more deafening and pervasive. There is no fear in love. But perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. There is only one source, which is love. Love has no opposite. However, the absence of love is fear. Therefore every act that a human being performs is either an act of love or an act of fear or a position of indifference. Every act of fear is really just a cry for love. So when we or someone else lashes out, is rude, or cruel, it is a rude manifestation of fear. Usually it's the fear of being taken advantage of or the fear that we will not be liked. So the offender preemptively strikes. Fear says, hurt them before they hurt you. It also says manipulate and exploit them before they manipulate and exploit you. Some people project out their attacks by labeling others with their own shortcomings. That projection is far too common. When we struggle with people, let's say a coworker, who is rude for no reason. At least no reason that we can see or hear, rather than responding. That person is such a bitch or that person is a racist. We should realize that person is responding to their own fears. A fear that you don't realize how valuable they are. A fear that you think they are stupid or in some other way diminished. A fear that you are taking advantage of them. A fear that their life is spiraling out of their control. A fear that they have taken a job that is beneath them. All of these fears and many more lead to harsh words and actions which are really just a cry for love. Racism, and bullying are as well cries for love. They stem from fears that say, I'm afraid I may be no better than those people over there. The truth is we are all perfect, but we just don't know it. It's our fears that shield our eyes from seeing our own perfection. We are each created in the self-defined image and likeness of God, who is perhaps love. When we open our hearts to love, it drives out fear. Just like flipping on the light switch drives out the darkness. Each of us has the power to choose which actions define our lives. We could cry for our needs to be met externally by others. Or we can find the strength within to help others with their needs. In fact, most people have generated both types of actions. We call for help in meeting our basic needs and we also help others fulfill their needs. A healthy balance can evolve to a positive where self-satisfaction is cultivated. By knowing that every person can act to meet their own needs as much as possible by being self-reliant. We can also foster a great deal of pride in helping others, recurring aid in helping to meet their basic human needs in a constructive manner. Just how we can be of maximum service to ourselves and how we can support others in meeting their needs is in fact what the best of life is really all about. Even though life may seem complex and convoluted with excessive toil, stress, blame and hardship. All one really need do is to stop, and think before acting. Then do the right things necessary to bring about positive resolutions. Ask yourself if the action taken or considered is a cry for love or an act of love. Then your wits about you and possibly choose a positive act of love whenever possible. The simple act of love will yield more love in your own world and possibly through karma. And by pulling together through a network of interdependence to generate more harmony, goodwill and a healthy dose of love, compassion, understanding, decency, and empathy in the world as a whole.